James, you actually manage this guy. You spar with him as well. For people that haven't seen him fight before, what can they expect?
Well, Javier's he's a strong, big, strong heavyweight. He's going to apply a lot of pressure. He's a tough kid, and he's not going to go nowhere. I think right now this is a key fight for him. A very key fight for him. A win over a name guy like Kirk Johnson will propel him to the next level.
Well, in addition to picking up some skills from you when you sparred, he also picked up your 4-letter vocabulary. During our morning meeting, I thought I was listening to Andrew Dice Clay. It was very interesting. All right now let's send it down to the man who's going to call the fight. Hopefully their vocabulary will be a little bit cleaner. Barry Tompkins and Rich Murata. Gentlemen?
I promise you, I value my job, Chris. Let's talk about Kirk Johnson a little bit, Rich. I mean, he's a guy who gets right there and you think, yeah, he's got the goods. And then he breaks your heart.
Well, I think he's got the goods in terms of skills. But you just never know which Kirk Johnson is going to show up in terms of his motivation, in terms of his shape. He's got to be in great shape tonight to face a guy who's hungry like Javier Mora. Now, he's only lost the 2 fights. One was for the heavyweight championship against John Ruiz, and he lost that by disqualification. The other was to Vitaly Klitschko at Madison Square Garden for the WBC title, in which he was blown out. His last fight was against Yankee Diaz just a few months ago. He wasn't really sharp in this fight, but he did show enough to show that he can still be a major player in the heavyweight division. However, even he would admit, Barry, that he was not as sharp as he needed to be in the future. He'll have to be sharper, I think, tonight against Javier Mora.
Yeah, he's just a guy you never know which Kirk Johnson will show up. Every now and then, a Kirk Johnson who is very good shows up. We'll see who shows up tonight. Let's take a look at the tail end of the tape. It's brought to you by Honda Motorcycles, and you can see Johnson, of course, much more experienced than Mora. But Mora's a guy who comes in here weighing some 34 pounds less than he did the last time he teed it up. He is 9 years the junior of Johnson, and he is just brimming with confidence. And you have to think that Johnson, somewhere in a corner of his mind, has got to be thinking, this guy could give me a problem.
Well, that's a good attitude to take in there, I think. Kirk Johnson, you take a look as he's being introduced, and there's Javier Mora. For Javier Mora, it's a big step up. For Kirk Johnson, he's already had those big steps in the past, Barry. So I would think that this man here, Mora, has got to be having a little bit a case of the jitters, because this is the fight where he needs to shine.
All right, right now we're going to take you up to the center of the ring, and the instructions to these two fighters from our referee, Tony Cribbs.
Him up and go back and wait for the bell. Good luck.
Let's take a look at the rules that will govern this fight. California rules, 3 knockdown rule will not be in effect, nor will there be a standing 8 count. A fighter can only be saved with the bell in the final round. Either the referee or the doctor can stop the fight. The headbutt rule, we go to the cards after the 4th round. 10 rounds of boxing. And I think this is going to be a very interesting fight.
First thing you want to see is if Javier Mora really goes after it here, or whether he is a guy who will try to fight a controlled fight against Kirk Johnson.
It'll be interesting, too, to see if Mora gives Johnson a wake-up call, because Johnson usually fights his best when he's pressed, a la Lou Savarese.
Well, all of these level of fighters, Kirk Johnson has been too much for, and you just saw his quickness there with the right hand.
Yeah, slipped it right in on the chin. Now Mora didn't take a backward step.
Javier wants to prove that he's more than just a club fighter, that he's more than a journeyman. He wants to be in the mix, and he's getting tagged with the quickness of Johnson, who's coming out here and trying to take control early. Not let the young hungry kid get into the fight even.
And you can see right now Mora has a tendency to drop that right hand and see if Johnson can take advantage of that.
I think that right hand landed on the left eye of Javier Mora, did a little damage to it.
Mora was, to say that he was confident when we spoke to him today is to make an understatement. You're right, there's a lot of reddening along the right side of Mora's face, particularly around the eye. Nice little uppercut slipped in by Johnson as well.
Johnson fighting a very good round. Kirk looks excellent in this round. You know, we questioned him at length in our fighter meeting about the Vitaly Klitschko fight. Why would you show up in shape like that? Why would you not give yourself your best opportunity to win the heavyweight championship against such a good opponent?
Mora, but he takes a right hand in return from Johnson.
Mora won't be able to relax in there.
And that reddening alongside the eye of Mora already there and showing up in this first round.
It was from those early couple of right hands that Johnson landed, and he's really finding a home for his right hand, and Mora is countering at times with a nice left hook.
But experience is really showing right here.
Remember, Kirk Johnson, although he's known for those fights with Ruiz and Klitschko, Kirk Johnson has wins over the likes of Oleg Maskayev and Larry Donald. I mean, real, contenders, guys who have been to the top, or at least fought at the top.
You can hear the crowd yelling, Mora, Mora. He's brought a rooting section here. But this has been a very good first round for Kirk Johnson.
Well, he's from Anaheim, California. And one of the reasons he felt so confident was all that work he put in with James Toney.
Thought a very effective round for Kirk Johnson. Just kind of taking advantage of the inexperience. Just gave you a little wink there.
He's kind of like, how am I doing?
I mean that only in a gentlemanly way, of course.
Yes, not in the romantic
No, of course.
Now, Javier Mora did land a couple of good shots in
did.
there, Barry, and I think Johnson felt his punches, but Mora's going to have to do something to show that he's a hungry fighter in there, and he's going to need to open up and take it to Kirk Johnson.
What Mora has not been able to do is keep Johnson out of punching range. Johnson's been right in fairly close quarters where he does his best work. Another good quick left hand. Let's go into the corner of Mora now, and the champ Sean O'Grady is there. Sean?
Yeah, and I tell you, I took a good look between rounds when they were working on Mora. He's got that swelling around his left eye, and they did a nice job. John Arthur, real patient in the corner, real calm. He tried to relax his fighter. Don't get him all excited yet. And they put Inswell on that swelling, try to push some of the air out of it, guys.
And it does look a little bit better, but it's still, it could be a factor. I mean, this early in the fight clearly could be a factor. Thanks, Sean.
So it's very interesting. The same thing happened, of course, to Fernando Vargas when he fought Shane Mosley. He got hit with a crushing right in the first minute of that fight, and of course we saw what happened to his eye. It blew up and eventually caused the fight to be stopped. A very good, close fight that was very much in doubt. But the same thing almost happens here to Mora. He gets hit a strong, quick right hand in the first round, first minute, and his eye has some early problems. Nothing dangerous yet, but we'll keep a close eye on it. Right now he needs to deal with the quickness of Johnson. He needs to go to the body. He promised he was going to go to the body, Barry, and we haven't seen much of that yet. He's been headhunted.
And that's what Curtis Coates told him. He said this guy's susceptible to the body. It was the first thing that Curtis said in the corner between rounds. Right hand slipped in by Mora. Anytime Mora scores with a punch, it's going to draw the attention of this crowd.
Mora looks like he's trying to pick it up here to me, pick up the pace. He's going to have to rough up Johnson. He's going to have to try to overwhelm Johnson with power. Trying to box with Kirk. Kirk is really a good boxer. He's really a fine, skilled fighter.
And Mora has been out-quicked early in this fight. That's to be expected. Johnson knows this is the last hurrah. I mean, he can't afford any more oops.
That's right. No more missteps. Absolutely correct. The only missteps he's had were in those heavyweight title fights.
That's right.
He cost himself the fight with Ruiz by being disqualified. Then he cost himself the fight with Klitschko by not getting in shape.
And we come to the end of the second round. Round number 3 upcoming now, and Kirk Johnson very effective through the first 2 rounds. Mora opens this with an overhand right that did get there.
That's what I'm talking about, Barry. He's got to overwhelm Kirk Johnson, but it would serve him well to do some body work.
Big right hand wobbled Mora. Still to come, of course, Sam Solomon, Raul Munoz. That's our main event. There's a left hand from Johnson. Johnson has a strong jab, too.
I'll tell you, Javier is not going to just fold, though. He came here to fight. He's very excited about this fight. He feels that this is his time to shine. He kept saying that. He was just all excited today, not only about this, but about his son's birthday coming up.
Yep, Luke, his son, is going to be 5 years old. Luke Andres, he wanted to be remembered and say happy birthday to his son.
So I think, you know, he felt that everything was kind of working for him tonight, but not Kirk Johnson. And Kirk's fighting a very effective fight.
He is.
And you know, the interesting thing about Javier, I've done fights of his before, and I've seen him. He still looks a little soft around the middle, but believe me, this is the best shape I've ever seen Javier Mora in.
Well, he said he's been fighting at 270, as high as 270, but generally speaking in the 260 range. Coming in here at, what, 232?
That is a lot less. And he looks more active in there. I think he's doing well.